good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is Times Now Live and I'm Hina Gambhir. Viewers, in a historic shift, the iconic Pataudi Trophy has now been retired, making way for a brand new era in cricketing legacy. The England and Wales Cricket Board has announced that India versus England Test Series will now be contested for the Tendulkar-Anderson Trophy, a nod to two of the game's greatest legends. In fact, it's an honor for them. And this nod has also come. Sachin Tendulkar is the leading run scorer in Tests with 15,921 runs to his name. 52-year-old played 200 Tests in a 24-year-long career spanning from 1989 to 2013. On the other hand, you've got James Anderson, England's leading wicket taker in Tests. He's also the most successful pacer in the longest format with 704 wickets to his name. The right-arm speedster had announced his retirement last year. Let's talk about the legacy of the Pataudi Trophy first. Now, the Pataudi Trophy was instituted in 2007 to commemorate 75 years since the two nations first met on the Test stage in 1932. Named after Iftikhar Ali Khan Pataudi, the only man to have played Test cricket for both India as well as England. The trophy also honoured the royal cricketing lineage of his son, the legendary Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi, exclusively awarded during India's Test tours of England. Now, the Pataudi Trophy, viewers, carries both historical as well as emotional weight. India lifted the inaugural trophy in 2007, marking a new chapter in one of cricket's most storied rivalries. Now, the retirement of the trophy hasn't gone down well with former cricketers and the Pataudi family. Let's now take a look at the backlash it has sparked. Some say this is like disrespecting legacy. It is being seen as erasing Pataudi family's contributions. Lack of consultation is another important aspect. This decision was made without public input or explanation. The family is disappointed. Pataudi family members have expressed disappointment as well. And trophy represented national pride and historical memory. Hence, this is being seen as some kind of a cultural loss as well. And former cricketers called for players to reject this new name that has now been finalized. There is protest that we are seeing from cricketing legends as well on this big decision. And joining us on the broadcast right now is my guest. We have Nikhil Sharma, who is a sports commentator and an author, joining us live right now. Good evening, Nikhil. Thank you for speaking with us here on Times Now. Like I said, the Pataudi Trophy, the name, there is a lot behind this name. It carries a historical as well as an emotional weight as well. And what is your view on, what we are seeing right now? This decision to change the name ahead of the India-England Test has led to a lot of disappointment among fans, also the Pataudi family. But what are your views on it?
Well, I'd like to touch upon three important points that I'd kind of consider for the whole renaming of the trophy. Number one, of course, there's no doubting the legacy that the Pataudi family has had for Indian cricket. And, I can understand where the backlash is coming from. And I would believe that it's predominantly, it's because there's no information, there's no conversation, like you touched upon the fact that it's just come out of the blue. There was no knowledge in the public forum that, a move, something like this was in the pipeline. So that's point number one. Point number two, I would like to say that while the legacy can 100% not be questioned at all, there would also have been talks about making the trophy, especially with Test cricket, very relevant to today's audiences. And that's possibly the only point that I can think of that might have kind of been taken into consideration while saying, let's get our current generation heroes into the game to kind of popularize the sport. And that's the plausible thinking that I would have had to say, the best cricketer, not just in India, but possibly in the world, to have his name up on the trophy. And of course, no doubting James Anderson's contribution, his test contribution to England cricket has been incredible. So if they brought him on board and named after both of these gentlemen, then I'd like to say that that might be the only plausible explanation why the trophy has been named, and it's a good reason. But having said that, it's something that should have been done with a process. It's not something that out of the blue announced, and that makes it a bit more
consultation. Okay,
yes.
A conversation perhaps could have really helped. Interesting. We have with us Atul Vasan, former Indian cricketer, also joining us on the broadcast. Nikhil Sharma stays with us as well. Good evening, Atul Vasan. What is your point of view as far as this change of the name is concerned? It's no longer going to be the Pataudi Trophy. Where do you stand on this?
See, I can see the both sides of the argument, because, it's always, like a bit of demeaning gesture when you actually name a trophy and then change it later on. But, what happens is I saw this logic that, when you go forward, there are many great players coming through, and I think it's limited countries are playing. So if you keep on carrying those trophies, then it is not relevant enough for the current crop of fans and the audience, and because they would rather, they have seen Tendulkar, they are, so then Anderson also creates some kind of, fandom in England. So I think when you go forward, so this relevance actually has to be kept alive. So anything between India and England or India, Australia, it has to be on a rotational basis, and you have to move with the times. So I think there's nothing to mind, because everything has got a sell-by date. And I think Pataudi Trophy, because of Mansoor Ali Khan Pataudi and then his senior Pataudi, because senior Pataudi played for England also, it had legacy, it has some kind of aura, and it had the kind of the relativity for the history. But now moving forward, Tendulkar is retired. Anderson is a great player from there, so I think this is quite pragmatic. And I am all for it to change these, because there are a limited number of countries, and these are marquee contests.
Okay, you've called this move pragmatic. You say that we have to move with the times, but Tiger Pataudi, was pivotal in instilling national pride and unity as far as Indian cricket is concerned. This question is for both of you. Yes, I completely agree with that. And now my next question is for both of you. Atul Vasan, to you first. While Tendulkar and Anderson are deserving, they are great. They are legends as well. But is there a need to erase the Pataudi name, the legacy?
Not really, but how can you sustain it? If you, as I said earlier, there are marquee contests. Contests are only India, Australia, India, England, India, South Africa, and you can have every country bilateral series on a trophy, on rotational basis. But if you keep on sticking to one name, then it could have been, Mushtaq Ali trophies, domestic cricket, because C.K. Naidu trophy. So you can have actually those players. So where does it end? And in the middle, they were great players also. There's Gavaskar's name was already there for Australia. And then who decides by what time it needs to change over? So I think there has to be some kind of a template where players also know that it's temporary. It's not permanent, because new players are going to come. New greats are going to be made by this game. And because you have to catch the audience, you have to be relative. You want those fans to be connected, and you want to have that passion with the names of the recent greats. So I think it has to be on a basis where after so many years, we will move it to somewhere. Because what about Kapil Dev? We have missed one generation. We have gone from Pataudi to Tendulkar. What about Kapil Dev?
Okay. Nikhil, how will you like to respond? Because Pataudi Trophy clearly was more than a name. It was a bridge between two cricketing cultures, two cricketing histories.
Well, change is the only constant in life. Having said that, there's a lot of respect that one must hold for somebody as big as Tiger Pataudi in Indian cricket. I think the good way of saying this is the trophy name has been retired, to be replaced by a new trophy. And, changes are abundant all over the world, not just in cricket, but if you really look at this, the World Cup trophy, the Football World Cup trophy at one point of time was called the Jules Rimet Trophy. And then, of course, they replaced it with a new trophy as well. So all across the world, everybody's looking at newer ways to to find, to give impetus to the sport. And Test cricket really requires this at this point of time. Any measures that are taken to promote white ball, red ball cricket with, is incredible. And if even an iota of support can be lent to India-England, which I think will be an exceptional series for everybody to watch, right after, an overdose of T20 that we've seen with the IPL. I do believe that it might just be the element of impetus that red ball cricket requires. So while, with all due respect to a great in Indian cricket and the bridge that he created, the fact that he took Indian cricket from one place to the other and we were, a force to reckon with, I do believe that having the likes of Sachin Tendulkar and James Anderson up on the trophy name will be a good move going forward, at least in the next decade or two.
Okay. Atul, now another point that I would like to ask you, because Nikhil said in the beginning that, perhaps if there was some kind of conversation around it before this decision was taken, it could have really helped, because Sharmila Tagore, wife of the late Tiger Pataudi, called this entire move insensitive. And she revealed that, ECB wrote to her son, Saif Ali Khan, about the change, but she's claiming that the family wasn't consulted. So do you think perhaps they could have been a little more sensitive, even though, like, both of you seem to agree with the fact that change is the only constant. We need to move with time. So maybe the family could have also been taken into confidence and it would have been better?
I don't know what happened is because, once they opened this box, they didn't have an end game. They didn't see it through, because if they announced this trophy, then at that time it should have been made clear that in the future it might be named a different after different great player, but it was not done that, and that's why it's hurting them. And I totally agree with their viewpoint also, because you feel slighted, and like a big name being taken away, or it should be compensated somewhere. So I think like in Australia and England, they never went down this road. They put Ashes, and it's got a different story and legend. So I think we should have also done that. And once you start naming these, 2 or 3 marquee contests on the names of legends, but I have to be told at that point that it has to be rotational basis, so people don't feel bad down the line, because as I said, I gave you the reason. But once you have named it, or just tell them that whatever it is, then because once naming Pataudi Trophy, because Lala Manna was the first captain, he went on the first tour to England, so where do you start, where do you end? There's no kind of what is the method to this? And anybody can ask about this. Amarnath can ask, why it was not named after Lala Amarnath, because Lala Amarnath was on the first tour. Then somebody from Vijay Hazare, Vijay Merchant's family will come. So once you name Pataudi, you keep it forever. Because once they were not told that it is temporary, and they have been now just told that this will be changed, I think they are right in their stance also, and board should have gone to them and told them the reason and taken their permission. And it has to be done in some, very the propriety should have prevailed.
Okay, Nikhil, last closing comments.
Well, it's very interesting what Mr. Vasan just said. I think as part of any family, if I had a family member on whom the trophy is being named, I will be very slighted if it was my father or a relative whose name has been changed and only an information has been provided to me. I would like to go a step back and say maybe it's not the best idea to be naming trophies on the names of former cricketers. Maybe I don't think it's a great idea. We have this fascination of naming stadiums, naming trophies, naming so and so and so forth with people, and unfortunately, as mortal as we all are, life will progress. So that's why when Mr. Vasan said the Ashes, you don't have to talk anything more about any specific cricketer, whether it's Bradman, whether it's Waugh, or any of the other people. When you talk Ashes, the essence of Australia versus England just comes out when you talk the Ashes. You talk about the Ashes, you name it. I don't think you say the Ashes and anybody thinks of anything but cricket. So that's the kind of branding that possibly sport requires. It might not be, the names of former legends, while it might give you impetus. I have another idea. Maybe say that this would be a rolling trophy for the next 10 years, 12 years, for the next 5 seasons that, the teams will tour. And from there on, we'd possibly find new ones so that everybody is not attached to their idea or their names to, lend to certain trophies. And that way, we will have a lesser heartburn. things stand, while name is okay, but I do feel the family of, Pataudis will be feeling a little slighted by whatever's happened. So will be the former greats.
Well, that's what we are seeing happening. But thank you very much, both of you, Atul Vasan and Nikhil Sharma. Interesting views we got from both of you. We'll, of course, have to see what happens next in this case because the decision has been taken. Thank you for joining us on Times Now this evening.